Welcome to episode 14 of Athletics for Life podcast. I'm one of your hosts, CD Johnson, here with Jeff Copes. And today we have another alumni guest. These episodes and interviews have been great so far. So we actually have another alumni from ISU. Jeff, would you like to introduce our guest for today?
Yeah, it's good to see you, CD. Episode 14, man. We're going really well. I'm very happy to have on the podcast today Ariunbaatar Ganbaatar. And Ariunbaatar is currently in Germany studying. He was at ISU from K to 12, played multiple sports, comes from a very good family. And I contacted him to see how he's doing. We like these alumni series to see how the kids are doing and how they apply the lessons they learned through our athletic programs into their current life. So we're waiting for Ariunbaatar, and we're going to the interview.
Sounds great.
Who we have over here? Ariunbaatar.
Hello.
Hello, my friend. How are you
How's it
doing?
going?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Hey, happy that you're here, my friend. How are you doing over there?
Thank you for having me out here. I'm feeling pretty good, actually. Yeah, just chilling.
Just chilling. Okay,
Yeah.
so before we start, Ariunbaatar, we just talk a little bit about our podcast, what we do. So CD, if you want to introduce and talk a bit about that.
Sure. I'm CD Johnson. I was the athletic director at ASU for a while. Now I'm at BSU. And Jeff and I started the podcast a while ago. We just want to kind of explore the world of athletics and the lessons that we can learn through sports from the perspective of the athletes that we coached, potentially get that information out to parents, and then even for other coaches and athletic directors, just kind of to illustrate why it's important that we do what we do and the ways that we do it and the lessons that we try to teach along the way. And so today we're hoping to just talk to you a little bit about your experiences at ISU, what lessons you learned while you were playing there, and if any of those have now carried over to your life now in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty special to be on our podcast, Ariunbaatar, because we don't invite everybody. We had Dulgun, from ASU on the podcast, Namun.
Mm-hmm.
And Buena. So you're number 4 here. I invited you because I think you would be. I think you're an inspiration for a lot of young kids, also from ISU, but all over the world. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing, where you're right now, Ariunbaatar? What are you studying, and how's your life looking right now?
So I graduated ISU in 2019. Now I study at the ACAMIS University, Bremen, Germany. So I've been here in lockdown for like the last year. So I haven't left at all. Yeah, I'm studying computer science, and I think I'll be expected to graduate in 2022. Yeah.
That's great. And I see that you'd sent over a picture. You're playing basketball over there?
Yeah, I play basketball in I think it's not like crazy hard league, but it's like Kreisliga. It's like lowest league, just like for fun. Like, yeah.
How's your team doing?
First season, I think we got like third, but after the third or fourth game, I tore my ligament in my ankle, so I didn't play for any of the games. And then second season this year, because of Corona, it's stopped. So we haven't really had much playing time and experience there. So yeah.
What have you been doing to keep fit, Ariunbaatar, during this last year?
I think for the last like month, I gained like 5-6 kilos. So like for like a week or two, I've been just running in the mornings, doing home workouts, and we have a gym on our school, and like they gave out equipment for students to use. So I just took some dumbbells, barbells, and push-up resistance bands, and I've just been doing some home workouts. So.
That's great. So, sorry, CD. Ariunbaatar, you've been at ISU since pre-K or kindergarten, right? Is that correct?
Since first grade.
First grade. So you were here
Yeah.
about 11 years. When did you start playing sports? When was that? How old were you? And talk a little bit about that.
Playing sports, like I've been playing since like I was a baby, you know, because my dad's a football player and I always used to play with him. But at not at ISU, I think I played football since like seventh grade, but I never really knew about the basketball and volleyball at ISU until like ninth grade or 10th grade. So I first tried out in ninth grade with Mr. McQuigan.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember I forgot my clothes, so I was like in jeans and playing there, but I didn't make it. And then, yeah, I think I played in 10, 11, and 12 for basketball. For volleyball, I think also 10th grade I started playing, and yeah, but football I've been playing for like since I was born. So yeah.
And which of those sports did you go to ACAMIS for?
I went to ACAMIS for all three of them. Yeah, but not like. I think since 10th grade I went for all three of them till like 12th grade. Yeah. So for 3 years I went for yeah.
Yeah, I think you went to about 10, 11 trips in total, Ariunbaatar, right? And
Yep.
so about the ACAMIS trips, going from Mongolia down to China, how did you experience those trips? What were the highlights of those trips, and what do you remember most?
That was actually like first time I was like out of Mongolia in my first ACAMIS. I think basketball in 9th or 10th grade. It was like the craziest experience, and yeah, I think that's the most memorable one. I don't really remember much from like the games and like, but I remember like what we did, like the people we were with, and like the moments we had there. So yeah, that was the best, I think.
What did it feel like to go to China? Usually the tournaments were in China. So what did it feel like to go to China and kind of represent Mongolia? Did that kind of cross your mind at all?
Yes, I think like, yeah, we were like only a second, two Mongolian teams, and like even though here we were like arguing or like against each other like rivals, there we were like working together, supporting each other, and like I was like rooting for ASU in the games, and they were rooting for us, and like yeah, because we only had each other, you know, because everyone else was like Chinese, and they were like supporting each other. Yeah.
Ariunbaatar, you just said like you don't remember much of the games, more about the experiences. I had the privilege to go to a few events, and you always looked very calm to me, chill, and you were really in the moment. Can you talk a little bit about how you experience sports and why you were always so calm and so relaxed?
Yeah, I like when I play sports, I don't know what happens. Like my body like reacts on its own. So like for example, when I used to play basketball, right? I remember like my first games and like I blank out. Like I don't know what happened, but I see the ball in the net. Like I've scored. So I was like confused because like I like pass out. I don't know how to say it, but. I like lose like what's happening for a moment, but my body does it on its own, and like just I don't know. That's like my experience with sports. Like when I get in the moment, I don't know what I'm doing, but my body just does it on its own. Like, yeah,
Kind of like you're in the zone,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you're just focused. And yeah, I always appreciate that about sports. You know, if I had a rough day at work, or my girlfriend was bothering me or something, when I was younger. I'm an old married guy now, but if I would go to practice, then it would kind of clear my head, right? And I could just kind of go back to whatever problems I had with a clear mind.
Yeah.
And I felt like practices and games always helped for that.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
the first thing I do like when I'm like stressed and stuff is like go for a run, play basketball and like play volleyball, you know? It's like you just clear your head and helps you calm and like, yeah.
So Ariunbaatar, did the results of the competitions really bother you? Were they important to you? Or was the experience more important to you during those trips?
Mm, of course, like we always go there to win and like
Mhm.
try our best, but sometimes it doesn't like turn out as the way you want it. So it's just like I go there, I want to win, but it doesn't happen. But I feel bad, but after like a day of sleep and like hang out with friends, I feel fine because like we're there together. We made some like memories. We've experienced like we learn from the experiences. And I just calm down and move on, I guess. Look for the next year. Yeah.
So now it seems like you've carried those over to university. You mentioned you're playing basketball, and you started with football. You said you started football when you were in seventh grade, and then kind of joined basketball later. So did you try to find a football club in Germany, or do you enjoy basketball
Yeah,
more now?
I actually joined the football club. Like they're playing a league as well, but I think it's more competitive. And I made it, but they have to contact Mongolia to get my like I don't know approval from the Mongolian like football federation, I think. And that apparently takes like a year or two. So I can't do like nothing for a year. So I just joined the basketball team
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
played volleyball. And
Are you playing both at the same time, Ariunbaatar, or is there a different season over there? Because it works a little bit different in Europe.
yeah, volleyball is not really like a league or anything. We just play for fun, like 2, 3 times a week. And then we went to like a small tournament in Paris. And
Okay.
yeah, and basketball is like and league, so you have to like sign up and like yeah, play for a team. But volleyball is just for fun. Anyone can join and we just play.
Do you feel like your time at ISU prepared you to be able to play at that level?
Yeah, I think like I'm better than most people here and like I can teach them and we like play, I teach them and like we all get better actually. Yeah. I think I can like help others improve and like see that they also like playing sports, get them into start playing volleyball and basketball.
That's great. So the level is pretty much even from what you experienced over here to what you're doing right now, or is it a little bit different?
It's a little bit different for basketball because we're playing against like much older, experienced guys. So it's like 30 to 40 years old and they're like also pretty fit. So, German people like big, so you can't like, they're like pushing me around and like, yeah, it's tough.
To try to stay sane, to try to keep your mind busy. You mentioned you've been working out and borrowing some weights, but what about like your daily life? What's that look like?
My daily life. So it's been like winter break for the last month, I think. And so every morning I go for a run and then I do some home workouts. Then before I sleep, I also go for another run. And I think that's helping me like stay
You were
sane.
never a runner, AB. I don't
Yeah,
remember you
but
being a runner.
there's nothing like I can do,
Okay.
Yeah, I have to start running.
So Ariunbaatar, like our podcast, we try to share the lessons you can learn through sports, right? So what are some of the main lessons that you learned at your time at ISU, playing the tournaments? The most important lessons that you learned from sports, playing sports?
I think it'll be communicating with people or like understanding people because like at the beginning, like when we weren't all that good, and it was frustrating because like we were losing and like I don't know what I was doing. And yeah, when I was like mad at my teammates because they mess up, they were mad at me when I messed up, and like it was like annoying. But then like as I like got into later years, like 11th grade, 12th grade, I started like calming down, like seeing what I can do to improve. And like I realized like you can't change like what other people do, but like you can change what you do. So I always try to like stay calm and like help them out, like give them feedback and stuff like that. So like I had to focus on what I could do and like how I could help their team grow and stuff like that. So I think that's the most important thing I learned from.
If you could give advice to maybe a young student at ISU or ASU or at another school, maybe listening to this, what advice would you give a young student who's maybe thinking about sports or they're not sure? What would you tell them?
I think they should just give it a go. Like you don't like, really lose anything. You if you don't like it, you can quit it. You can like yeah, if you like it, you can pursue it. And like it's all really up to the person because I know people who like don't like sports, you know. They don't like get the same feeling I do when I play sports. So it's not like like it's about the person, so I can't really say for them, but I would tell them to give it a go because for me it's been like a really big part of my life. And everything I do, like I can't live without it. So everything I do has to do with sports. And like yeah, so
So Ariunbaatar, I'm very fortunate to know your parents, and I know your sister who is in grade 10 now. She plays in my volleyball team. What kind of influence did they have on your sporting career and on the person that you are right now?
I think they were really supportive, you know, even though like sports is like extra, like first comes your grade and your student academics. And yeah, they were like really supportive. And I think it's because my dad also played like football like for many many years, and they know like how important sports is to your life. So they've supported me like very much throughout the years that I've been studying at ISU. And my sister is now also following in that, and she's playing volleyball and stuff. I watched the live games, no,
Oh, you
the
did?
YouTube recorded games, and yeah, I watched her play and stuff.
Yeah, good story. Your sister went on her first flight last year out of the country, and I didn't know that till she was on the flight, and she was like, "This is my first time in the plane going to China." So that was great. Ariunbaatar, you talk about academics first. I remember you were always very organized, and you could balance your academics and your athletics very well. Can you tell us a little bit about how you did that?
Mm, I think an important thing is like actually listening and focusing in class, because I didn't really do that much like hard revision, you know. Everything I learned was from my teachers, and like I listened in class and I participate a lot in class. So like I was already absorbing the information, and like before the exam I didn't need to like read the entire textbook to learn the entire thing. I just needed to like revise the few notes I had and go over a little bit of things that like I don't feel comfortable with, and then yeah, fix that, and everything was like turned out fine. So
And you said now you're in computer programming?
computer science, yeah.
Computer science. And how's that going?
It's very tough, like yeah, but I'm still going, and I think yeah, I think I'll get through it. It's very tough.
So back at ISU, Ariunbaatar, we had a athletics banquet at the end of the year. You won a few prizes here and there in different sports, and I think you won the overall one time. What did those awards mean to you? The appreciation that we gave you for all you've done for the sport. What did that mean to you at that moment?
I think it was like a reward for like all the hard work I did and like the effort I put into the team. And I think it felt amazing, I guess. Yeah. Because like we had a lot of practices in the mornings and like
Oh yeah, I forgot those.
yeah, and yeah, all those games, all the people, and like it was like because I was also like trying my best. I was trying more, I guess, to like help my teammates as well and improve so that our overall team gets better. And like it was like the reward for that, the effort I put in. And yeah.
So to continue on that, sorry, because you say that you made that switch to more, because in grade 10, grade 9, you were more focused on the winning, you got sometimes angry, and then you made a switch to more supporting your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And I can really see that in your last event, because you didn't want to go to the volleyball. Remember that? Last year you were busy with studying, and I almost forced you to go. Because you are such a good boy to take on a trip and you make your teammates better. When did you make that switch, and why did you make that switch?
Because like it was getting like tired, like I'm always like mad in games, like it was like let's stop this, so I started to like I thought about it, like I had to calm myself down. I have to like focus. I can't be like mad because it brings down like the entire team's like energy, and I saw like how it affected the entire team. So I was like, I need to change what I'm doing, and I have to like be more positive and like support my teammates. And like after I did that, I could see the changes and like the effect it had on the court. So that's what like kept me like, okay, I should keep doing this. I should follow through, like stuff like that.
That's awesome that you're able to kind of reflect on on yourself and how you were performing. One of our last interviewers was another athletic director, and he asked a question, kind of a rhetorical question, like, what does it feel like to be coached by me? And that's something for coaches to kind of ask themselves. But I'm curious, what did it feel like to be an athlete under Mr. Coops? To be in his program. Not to put Jeff on the spot. We can always edit this out if if it was a terrible experience, but I get the feeling that it wasn't a terrible experience. So yeah, what did it feel like to be an athlete under Mr. Coops?
I think it was like amazing because you could like feel from him like how much he cared about the program and how much he cared about the students, and like you could see it from like what he's doing and his actions, and that he was supporting us throughout the whole time, and he was like amazing. Thank you very much for like all the times. Yeah.
You don't have to thank me. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
If you have students and athletes like you are in Batar, and we had way more of them, who care about the sports, who care about their coaches, who want to represent their school, their country, then it's easy for an athletics director to do their job. And I think Mr. CD had the same with ASU, with his students. And most of those boys and girls too. It's easy. So yeah, we need more students like you. That's why we have you on the podcast today, just to share that. You've got a sister now in grade 10 who is at the start. She made a small start last year, and to be honest, she had a tough time at the tournament. It was all new for her, being in a foreign country. She's made steps. What would you tell her about sports in general, ISU, for the next till she graduates?
I don't know, honestly. Like, I think it's a process itself. So like, I think she should go through that process and like learn herself, like what she gets out of it. The only thing like I can do is like help her play volleyball. I don't know.
Does she talk with you on guitar?
Yeah, yeah. She
Okay.
tells me like what she does at the tournaments and stuff. So yeah, I don't really know because I don't really know what to like because I'm also studying and stuff. So I can't really like I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. Because I can see a lot of similarities between you two. So that's really cool to see. And she's very humble too in the way she acts, and she never complains. And you have that same. Do you have another nice memory from one of your trips? You went to different places in China. You went to Macau. What is one fun memory that you recall? I have a few that I can share, but maybe you know something funny that we did over there.
You can go first.
Well, what's always funny is that you go down from Mongolia to China, CD, and you know that too, right? And what I always loved about the boys is they made the tournament not, of course, on the court too, but at the parties, at the restaurant, and the first thing we want to do is go to McDonald's, right? Because we don't have that here, or Starbucks. So yeah, at the parties, the dancing, and that's always what I remember. Or just getting a massive sunburn because we don't have much sun over here in the winter time. That's some fun stuff. Yeah. McDonald's, Ariunbaatar. McDonald's.
Yeah, that was the first things we usually do when we go to China. Find the McDonald's. Yeah. From what I remember is just like dancing and like screaming to songs and like trying to intimidate the other teams before the games, and like we see them like the first time we see the teams and we're like, yo, like who's good, who's bad, like let's watch their games, who do we have to watch out for, and like stuff like that, fun times. Yeah.
So once you played in the blue division. So for people that don't know that, ACAMIS has different divisions. We were in the blue division for years, and I made the bold move to a different division for our school, playing against bigger schools, tougher programs, and it was a pretty hard reality check for us, and for some of the boys and girls too. How did you feel that transition? What was your impression when we moved to a different division, playing against bigger schools, better athletes?
Yo, like I loved it, and I wish like it would have been done sooner, like so I can have more years in that league, in that division. Yeah, because I remember like they were like much tougher, I guess. I don't know. From what I remember is they were much tougher and like more devoted to sports, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's what I felt from playing in the Orange division. I think it was 11th grade, right?
No, we started when you were in
12th,
grade 12. Yeah, you were in grade
12th grade.
12.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
it was the only year. And then I was like, dang, I wish I could have stayed another year and like played in the division.
So Ariunbaatar, there might be some athletes that are in kind of that position right now. They're in their last year or two, and potentially thinking to go abroad for school. What advice would you give them, or maybe what are some things that you wish you would have known when you were in grade 11 and grade 12?
Yeah, like I think the most important thing is to just like enjoy the moment, because it's about to end. And like before like 9, 10, 11th grade, I was just like, oh, it's over, like whatever. But now in 12th grade, I was like enjoying every moment, trying to make it as fun as possible, trying to make it like the best moments as possible, have the best ACAMIS, and yeah, I really like put effort into that, and yeah, made some special memories. And yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's over before you know it, Ariunbaatar, right?
Yeah, so it's like, yeah.
So are you planning to come back to Mongolia anytime soon, or you're not planning to?
I think I have to do an internship this summer, but I'll try. I'll probably go back like in maybe August or like July after because I have to do a 2-month internship in the summer,
Okay.
and after that I'll probably come back to Mongolia.
Do you see yourself moving back to Mongolia once you finish your degree over there in Germany, or you don't know yet?
I don't know yet, but I really like Germany. Like everything is like on time, clean, and like everything works perfectly, and yeah, it's like really nice. So I'm not sure about what I'll do after I graduate.
Have you had time to go to Holland yet, or not yet?
Mm, I've been in lockdown, so
You've been
I don't
locked.
think I've gone anywhere yet. Maybe a few places around Germany, like
Okay.
Hamburg, Frankfurt, stuff like
Okay. Sidi, I think we're running to the end of our podcast. So, Ariunbaatar, some final last words for an athlete looking at our podcast right now. What would you tell them if they say, well, I don't think sports is really for me? What would you tell them?
Mm, I mean, like, if it just give it a try, like you'll see once you start playing, like what like amazing things that sports does for you, the like connection with your teammates, connection with your coaches, your teachers, your friends, and like the energy you can bring to your school. And like it was like amazing watching games and like people cheering for us and like being in the front stage and playing against teammates and rivals like ASU and like BSU and stuff. So like just give it a try, and if you don't like it, like you can like change and stuff, but I don't think you won't like it. Yeah.
Just give it a try, right?
Yep. Just give it a try.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. So we want to thank you for being on our podcast, Ariunbaatar. It's good to see you again. Sidi?
See you too.
Yeah, it's always awesome to talk to athletes and just kind of hear from their perspective. You know, as a coach and as an athletic director, we see it from a coach's perspective, and so just to hear what the experience was like, and you know, it's always reassuring to hear that the athletes had a good time and it was enjoyable and they got a lot of benefits out of it. It's always nice to hear.
Yeah, and also to Ariunbaatar, to refer, we had a podcast 2 weeks ago with an athletic director from the USA, and he was saying we're not defined by the scoreboard, but what we do in 20 years, right, CD? Something like that. And by me contacting you and you writing directly back to me, like, I want to be on the podcast, that means a lot for me. And I think as an athletic director, that's what we want. That a few years ahead, when you guys just come back on a podcast or have a chat, and that you tell us that you love the programs, I think that's when we've done a good job. So I want to thank you for that. To take some time out of your
Thank you
day to
for
be here with
having
us.
me.
No
Thank
problem
you
at
for
all, my
having
friend.
me. Yeah.
No worries. All good. So that's the end of our podcast. Thank you, Ariunbaatar.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Right. So we just finished our interview with Ariunbaatar, former alumni at ISU and currently in Germany working on a computer science degree, playing some basketball. And I think the big thing for me, or the big takeaway for me, was when he realized he wasn't having the success that he wanted. And so he started to reflect on his performance and kind of wonder, how can I get better? How can we be more successful? And that's when he made that switch to be more towards getting his team better, right? Trying to figure out what are their motivations, what are they trying to do, why are they doing it that way, and just working with them as opposed to maybe blaming them as sometimes athletes do. You know, when you don't have the success you want in a team sport, it's easy for it to be the other guy's fault. So for me, that was really cool, just that he consciously made that focus and that effort to kind of bring the team together and help make everybody better.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, two things actually: his way of balancing his academics and his sporting. Ariunbaatar, we practice at 6 a.m. in the morning, back in the good old days. And he lives far away. So he had to leave like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning to get on time in -40. So that balance is very important. He was always very good at that. And he mentioned a few times by just give it a try. If you're not sure if you want to play sports, just try. Doesn't mean you have to play the core sports, the volleyball, the basketball. It could be just going to the gym, or it could just be pick up running or do something that helps you to get better in life, right? It was great to have him on the podcast. He's a man of few words, but a very humble, very nice kid. I still see him as a kid, right? Because I'm getting older too. He was just very good on trips to CD, and I think that's key as athletic directors, that we take kids that we feel that we trust, right? That's very important. So
yeah, we've all had athletes like that we'd take on a trip, or that we'd maybe keep, and when we're doing cuts, that maybe they don't. I'm not saying Ariunbaatar doesn't, but maybe they don't have the skills, but one of their greatest assets is just how they help bridge that chemistry with the team and kind of bind everybody together. I've had some athletes like that where, they weren't starters, but they were there to just make the team better.
Yeah, exactly. Because we always say, like, it's a privilege, right? It's not a right to be on a team. And especially for someone like Ariunbaatar, representing his country, it is a privilege for him. When he goes to China, we always laugh. They go to Starbucks, they go to McDonald's because we have nothing here. But he really soaks it up. And when we talked to him, you saw that he barely remembers anything from the games, but he remembers the trips, he remembers the experiences, he remembers hanging out with his friends, right? So those connections he made, he will last forever. It was great to have him on the podcast today. So it was good to see old alumni on our podcast.
And what's awesome is that trip kind of broke the ice for him. I think he said that was his first time out of the country. It's his sister's first time out of the country, and now he's studying abroad. And so I think for a lot of our athletes, that can be kind of make it easier to make that transition to go somewhere else. Yeah, it's only a weekend trip, but at least you've been on a plane before. At least you've been out of the country before.
Exactly.
That's great.
Okay, so that's the end of our podcast today. Thank you, Ariunbaatar. Episode 14 is a wrap.
Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe below. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.